relive my life, I know what I would change. All the times I made you cry, all my faults that caused you pain. I know I'm sorry, it's not big enough to tell you how wrong I've been, but I don't know where to start to live my life without you. You're the one that I love, and I can't go on without you.
Hey, Sal, we're doing this?
That's right, baby. We are. That's it. Welcome, everyone. This is our first episode of A Couple of Good Fellas podcast. We're
Yeah.
really excited to do this.
Of course. This is just going to bring out our stories to you guys.
You know, this is about reminiscing about the best times that we had. You know, the early 2000s, the late 90s were an era that is pretty much not around anymore. Nothing like that time exists anymore. So that's why everything we do is so relatable, and the videos that we do just take off.
Absolutely. Like, here's an example. You ever hang on the stoops in your neighborhood?
Oh
Just
my
chilled out with your friends, had a good time?
Remember that? That was. Those were the days where you just hung out and had conversations outside.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like your mother couldn't find you all day long, and then all of a sudden it was time to go home, and all of a sudden you hear out the window, Salvo! I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go eat. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
Like the sound of the
Doesn't
ice
happen.
cream man coming around.
Yeah.
You probably don't know, but I grew up in Ridgewood, Queens. My Mr. Softy played the lambada. That's
Oh
how
my
I
God.
knew he was coming. You had that lambada singing around.
Yeah. So to give you a little background, I was born in Sicily. I came to this country in '86. I went from Sicily to and I grew up in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. So that's where my whole childhood was, and that's where the whole club time was. Bay Ridge, some parts of Queens. We shot out to Long Island sometimes, but that's where we grew up, and it was amazing. It was an amazing, amazing time, and I got a couple of stories to share with that.
Awesome. I'm Frank. I grew up in Ridgewood, Queens. I'm first generation born here in New York. My parents were born and raised in Sicily, near Palermo. A lot of our stories, me and Sal, you're going to hear, really relate to it. We're kind of raised the same, just in two different places. And how it brought us together was pretty awesome.
Yeah. You know, I want to start off talking about the club times. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, boy.
in the early, like especially the 2000s. You know, you would go out with a group of boys, and you just see how it was with my friends. We would just walk in the club, we would just hang out by the bar, and say there was 5 of us, but we would all scatter and just go our separate ways. You know what I mean? So I just say, I'd be like, boys, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Gone.
But I would go to the bathroom, but I would walk through the middle of the dance floor to go to the bathroom to hope that I heard something. I'm like, oh my God, that's so I always wanted to suck it. But, you know, I was hoping I would hear that. But it never happened. But there were times that's how you met the girls. You had to just
Fish you in.
you had to push your way in. You had to just have a personality. Bump into a girl and just dance with her and just, you know, kick it off. Write the number on the napkin, you know, stuff like that. But the
Why,
club
they
days.
didn't have
back-
iPhones, Sal, back then? They didn't.
No, they have
No?
fucking nothing, and it was great. But it was great. You know, you see the clubs. Everyone was talking to each other. Everyone was talking to each other. No one's face was on their phones.
Right.
So right now, it's just that's why I think a lot of things is so relatable nowadays. What we speak about back then.
Absolutely. I mean, I had the opportunity to experience the club scenes, but I never really got to enjoy like the club life. I worked for the clubs.
Yeah.
So I was always the guy on top watching everybody below, and I'm always like, look at this Zimbabwe, you know?
Yeah, you were kind of the jerk off at the door.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
you know, you were that
exactly.
guy. You're the guy that I do the jerk off guy videos about. You know, I was never on the list, unfortunately. I do all these videos, but I was never on the fucking list. I knew people too to get me on the list, but I was never on. I always had a hard time getting in.
Why?
Always had a hard time because I was always me and like 4 guys. I was never with
Ah,
girls.
the sausage
so
circle.
yeah, so it was just it was horrible. That's why I have so much material from them, because I'm fucking scarred.
Oh my God. But what is your greatest moments that stays out to you about the club nights?
Honestly, the teen jams. Remember the teen jams? Oh my God. I did a lot of the teen jams because you know, I used to work with a DJ company from like when I was like 15 until I did it for a long time. I started like
Wow.
14, 15, and it was just great. And we used to go to, we used to do like the Sweet 16s, and then after the Sweet 16s, we used to go to the freaking Teen Jam,
Teen night.
and then like, oh my God, it's Salzo the dancer from your Sweet 16. Oh shit, and it was just like it was awesome.
So you were the dancer for the DJ?
Yeah, I was a dancer, bro. I was ripping that shit up.
That's
and
funny.
Shit, it was that. Those were the best. I mean, working for the DJ companies was definitely, it got me my dance moves. That's right. I know how to fucking dance, yo.
Were you one of the guys that flipped? You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't flip that good. I was able to break dance.
Uh-huh.
I was able to do the windmill. It was always like a half a windmill, but it was a windmill. But but yeah, it was freaking awesome.
I feel like we're the complete opposites. Like I used to DJ, and you worked for the DJ for the entertainment side. So I never. First of all, I don't dance. I don't think everyone wants to see me dance. If I fall, I ain't getting up. But those were the music. That music
Yeah.
back then, like you felt. I used to get the chills when certain bass drops.
Right. The music was off the hook. Like the house songs back then, like "Without You Always on My Mind." I know it. I forgot the words, but I'm not gonna do that
You have a
today.
good voice.
Uh, this mic gives me a really good voice. I feel like I'm really deep. But yeah, the club scene were awesome back then. I did a DNA skit. The only thing that I remember about DNA that was awesome was they had that little hip hop room in the back,
Yes.
and then they had the napkins flying all over the place. Legacy had Legacy and Be Rich didn't have a hip hop room actually, but it was just like it was
It mixed it.
they just mixed everything.
Which was your club to
Um,
go to back then?
I have to say we went to Legacy a lot. I went to Legacy a lot because I was in Brooklyn. But when I went to Long Island, it was definitely Zachary's. Zachary's was like the spot all the girls were at, and it's just it was a good spot. Zachary's, Legacy, Gazebo, Club Rio, DNA in Queens. Oh my God, I could go on Glow in Long Island, the late
Oh.
like 2000s. That's when we started.
You ever did Posh, Bridgewater?
No, I never
Bridgeview?
did that. You know what's funny? I did Bridgeview. I went to Bridgeview. Funny, I did the Hampton skit. Remember
Yes.
I did that skit with.
Is that with the
I-
shirt?
Yeah. The thing is, I never even been to the Hamptons. I've never been to the Hamptons, and I never been to the Jersey Shore
Wow.
club. I've been there, but I haven't been to the clubs. But yet I have so much material about it.
They
and
did
it's
the
just-
greatest white parties when everybody went there dressed in white.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
the time you left, you were
Big
dirty.
as- They're dirty. You got
Yeah.
a couple STDs with you, but
No, I never did the Manhattan, the like Sound Factories, and
I did that.
that wasn't for me for some reason. I wasn't that crazy about the different floors.
Yeah. That was
It's like
I
the higher
agree.
the floor, the better the drugs.
like Exit had freaking like 18 rooms.
Exit.
Exit had a lot. It was just Sound Factory had a lot. There's a couple of more. There's this place called Sweet. That's what all the celebrities used to go to. That was a good spot. And it's just also about how we hung out back then.
Absolutely.
Like, what did you do when you hung out with your boys? Like, where did you guys? It was like pretty much hanging out outside.
If I wasn't outside, we were in front of the stoops. If we
Yeah.
weren't in the stoops, we were literally in my basement because I had a little soccer table.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you the difference. Like again, I grew up in Queens. When I moved halfway in, I was about 15 to Long Island. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It was so different. Even the birds go to sleep at 9 o'clock over there.
Yeah.
So I always came down to the neighborhood, but out there it was more like house parties. And let me tell you about house parties. I didn't even know they existed. I thought it was movies, but that's all it was in Long Island. It was house parties, hanging out in parking lots, hanging out at gas stations. That wasn't what I did.
Yeah. Long Island was definitely a lot of house parties back then.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like a lot of my freestyle stuff really comes from my sister because I'm a little younger for the freestyle section of it, but I was born in 81, even though I grew up around it. But my sister was huge in freestyle. Like my sister is a little like older. She was older than me. She was like 4 years older than me. And she had it blasting all day long. And that's where I'm like with her freaking hair. The house smelled like hairspray and sounded like had Judy Torres all day long playing. It was insane.
There's
But yeah.
something about that freestyle music that just stays in your head, and you know word for word
Yeah.
for word, right?
Yeah, and listen, there's still I think one of the best beats. Little Susie, man, she's got a couple of songs that have the best beats. You know, take, you know what I mean? Like that, the beats on that song are off the hook. But yeah, growing up was not like kids grow up today. You know,
No.
I had like I said, I didn't speak English till I was like 5 and a half.
How hard
So
was that for you when you came here and you had to learn because it's different?
if luckily I grew up in an area there was a lot of Italians,
Italians.
so it was all Sicilians. But I just feel like remember picking it up really quickly, so that wasn't an issue. Um, but yeah, it was just it was a lot of fun though. We used to hang out like me and my friends. I grew up in Bensonhurst, so we used to always hang out on 15th Avenue. So there was always a group of us, and it was like, all
Right.
like
The old
they're
school.
like, oh,
let's say
it's
today.
Sal. He doesn't speak English. Let's bring him in, and then I'm like, hey, ciao, ragazzi, come stai, bene? This is little Guinea from Palermo. But
Did you have an accent?
I had an accent for a very long time.
And when did you lose that accent?
I don't know. I have no idea. That's a good question. I don't know. Like I feel like I must have lost it pretty quickly because I don't remember ever having it. I'll have I got the Brooklyn accent now, but
Right.
other than that, it's yeah,
It's crazy how they say there's a difference of a Brooklyn accent, there's a Queens accent.
yeah.
I don't hear it. But as soon as you leave the state, they'll know where you're from just by hearing you out. Like I went to Disney World once with my kids, and somebody turned around and goes, "Oh, please tell me you're from Brooklyn. Somebody that I could talk to here." And I'm like, "How did you know?"
You know what's funny? I went out with recently. I went out with this girl in Brooklyn, like this girl straight up Brooklyn, but her Brooklyn accent, it was just like yeah, how you doing? You know what? I went to Bishop Kearney High School, and me and my girls, we like to go to Bay Ridge. Like she's how she spoke. I'm like, your Brooklyn accent is on point. I'm like, I love it right now. I'm like, and then Staten Island has their own accent, and but once you're around it, you realize that wait, that's Brooklyn, or that's Staten Island, or that's Queens. So
I,
you got to be around it.
I have a question for you. How was the Staten Island jerk off born?
The Staten Island jerk off was born because there's a very good friend of mine. Her ex-husband is the Staten Island jerk off.
Ooh.
All that material is from her ex-husband.
It was a real person?
It's a real person, man. I'm telling you, and that Staten Island jerk off is from the South Shore. They exist. It's a real person. Unfortunately. But listen, let me say it now. Staten Island is a great place where people get bent out of shape. Great food, great pizza. I have a lot of family there. I have best friends that live there. So it's like that 10%. You're a bunch of jerk-offs. You drive up and down Fala Capodanno. But
They all live in one block?
they all live on one block. They all go to the same gym. So yeah, that's where it's a real person. All my characters are real. There's nothing that's made up. The door guy is real. The door guy scarred me my whole 20s.
Is that why you never put yourself on the list?
God, I don't know what it was. I never had the right number to call to get on the list, and it was just it was always a mess.
How crazy it is. Like, we always seem like to cross paths, but never met each other back
I
then,
know,
right?
I know. That's crazy. You used to be like the top promoter / DJ at DNA.
That was my house.
I used to
spot.
go there all the time. I went to DNA all the time.
My
And it's just
God.
funny how we cross paths with the people that are in our life that we know.
Right.
So it's crazy how everything turns around. It's insane.
People say it's a small world. It sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. So, but where did you go to school?
Well, in Ridgewood, I went to 81,
Okay.
but then we moved to Glendale. So then I went to over here by us.
Okay.
But high school, I went to Forest Hills.
All right. all
Yeah,
right.
I went to Forest Hills High School. Forest Hills was great. I mean, I guess in every school is the same. I don't know, but in Forest Hills, it was like groups of
Yeah.
people. Right? You had the Russians on this side, the Jewish on this side, and the Italians always on the right, far left side. And as long as you stuck to your side, nobody had problems.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was at my time growing up. I loved everything about it, even the fist fights. I'll tell you why. It was genuine.
Yeah.
Oh, he lost. It's over. Like today and day, if somebody doesn't get shot,
Yeah. No, I agree.
it's not over.
High school was awesome for me. High school, we had a lot of fun in high school.
Yeah.
We like owned the school. The teachers loved us. It was just like it was like a little mob in high school. We had like a little mob, and it was insane. It was just like a group of probably like 10 of us that we just owned the school. We did whatever we wanted,
Oh boy.
and it was just friggin' awesome. And you know, I actually graduated 6 months late because of it because I didn't go to class. But so I even snuck in though. I was supposed to graduate in June, but I ended up graduating in January. But I snuck into the graduation in June so I could graduate with everyone
Everybody
else. So it was just like high school was definitely a good time in Brooklyn. I went to New Utrecht and graduated in '99, and it was really awesome time back then. We hung out in the corner of the school. We were never in the school. We were always outside the
Corner.
bagel store of the school.
It's funny you said bagel store. That was a spot that we found a bagel shop in Forest Hills, and that was our shop.
Yeah.
But we became tight with the cops because if you cut, they're the ones who pulled us over and they want to see your program cards, and then they'll have to paddy wagon your ass back into school and call your parents.
Yeah, yeah.
But we found the trick around that. It's like, they like to be fed, right?
Yeah.
So we always walk around with cheeseburgers in our pocket. And then, when they came, we just, we fed them. We went on the paddy wagon.
I did so many douchey things when I was in high school. I think about it now. Like I used to go to the all-girls school. Like me and my friend, me and a couple of my friends. We used to go to Bishop Kearney High School. We used to cut school.
Oh,
And we used to go to Bishop Kearney High School, get decked out. We used to stand across the street while the girls were getting out of school. But we weren't doing anything. We were just watching them get out of school. And then we would just go home. And we cut school for that, hoping to meet someone.
Let me tell you a story, Sal. Cutting school, I think it was just when Nextels started coming out.
Yeah.
So I got a Nextel. Everybody chirps each other. And I cut school. That's when we first started driving, right? My first car was a Thunderbird, a 1990 boat. So back then when they said, hey, there's a fight or there's somebody that it was like the squad just went to go support. So we headed out. We left school. And all of a sudden, my mom keeps calling me, so I kept ignoring her. And we went to King because that's where where the fight was, right? So we go to King, and all of a sudden, my mom, and I answer. I say, yeah, Mom, what are you doing? She goes, well, I'm at school. What's the matter? She goes, you at school? And all of a sudden, I hear across the street, disgraziato! I said, that's good. She started chasing me down Metropolitan Avenue. But, those are the good times that you think of. Because today, it's like, I'll kill my kids if they did that.
I know. They were the best times. It's just people ask me, how do I get my material? I just randomly comes to me. I think about that time. I'm like, oh shit, remember that? And I'll just do a skit on it, and that's it. It's the way I grew up, the way with my parents, the way they were. I couldn't throw anything in the garbage.
Mm.
They kept everything. So it was a nice childhood I had. Definitely had ups and downs, but I'll never forget those times, especially the club times and the going out times and the hanging out times. And I think that's just why you make a skit from back in the day, I make a skit from back in the day, all of a sudden it blows up and it's so relatable. I just did it one day just to I tried to reminisce on that time. And I just didn't realize how relatable it would be to people. It was insane. It's just like, I'm not the only one that wants to go back to that time.
Right.
Like everyone wants to go back to that time. And it's just an easier time.
What made you pick up the phone and say, let me try this? Like what hit you?
You mean with the voicemail thing?
Yeah, like what made you start the Instagram or the TikTok?
I got a lot of my idea just by listening to freestyle music.
Really?
So I would listen to freestyle and I would get a memory from back in the day. So you know what's funny about the 2000s, the early 2000s and early the late 99s, late 90s, early 2000s. We didn't give a shit who the president was. No one cared about politics. No one even spoke about it. Clinton was getting head in the White House. No one gave a shit. You know what I mean? It's just like no one cared. We have people, and now back then we were in our 20s, early 20s. Kids now in their early 20s, that's all they talk about is politics. And everything's political. So that's what was huge back then. Back then, no one spoke about it. We didn't give a shit.
Now it became entertainment.
Exactly. So that's one huge thing about it. It's the the people that were in our 20s on our time and the people that are in their 20s now, everything is so
Different.
delicate and political. It's kind of disgusting the way it is now. So
Absolutely. But look how times change. Like you brought up before, we went out, we had a good time. Good luck our parents finding us because we were always running around. Our kids today, they're glued to the phone because that's where everything is.
Yeah.
There's no activities. You have to force them to play basketball.
yeah, I saw a couple of kids the other day playing basketball in the schoolyard. I had to, like, take a moment and like actually watch that. I'm like, holy cow, there's actually kids outside playing sports.
Yeah.
And that's what we used to do all the time. And it was just, I think about my kids. Like, my kids are, they're the kids of today. You know what I mean? But they ride my son rides his bike. We try, we try to get them out. They're not glued to screens all day long, luckily. But it's just not the way it is anymore. It's
But let me ask you this question. Back then, your parents let you out, right? You went out with your friends to play ball. Today, would you let your daughter be like, yeah, go down the block, go have a good time?
that's tough.
Right?
It's crazy. It's tough because it doesn't happen anymore. It's just now. Back then was like I used to come home, my hands were black.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you knew I was out all
Yeah,
day.
everything was black.
My hands were black, my fingernails, everything. But that's a really good question. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like I'd be hawking them. I'm like,
Right. I wouldn't have a peace of
I
mind.
know.
I wouldn't have peace of mind.
I know.
But what is it to blame for that? It's the social media now is different, right?
Yeah.
It's so in your face. It's easier to spread messages. That's all people look at. So all you hear is mainly the bad. So now everybody's like, tight,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. It's a really good point. It's just the way also like the way life is nowadays. It's all about, unfortunately, social media. It's
Yeah.
all about, not to bring this topic up, but for example, a lot of people get divorced nowadays, right? Now,
It's
the
very
divorce marriages used to last like 10 years. The like divorce rate was like after 10 years, the divorce rate was really high and that people would get divorced. Now it's going to like 1 year to 2 years of marriage.
common. Right.
And a lot has to do with social media because everyone is always thinking that the grass is green on the other side.
True. Yep.
So people are ending their marriages. People are just ending their like families. And I'm not saying every situation is different. Some there's like domestic violence involved, some there's. But back then, there was no social media. That's why marriages lasted longer, I believe. There was nothing else to try to, well, let me think about that guy that I banged back in high school. I could find them on Facebook. Or let me think about that girl. I should have said girl, but you know what I mean.
Nobody's judging.
Yeah. So I was thinking, let me think about that girl that used to be, and people would try to look up that person.
Right.
And what happens then? You reconnect. Then
Your feelings come back.
feelings come back.
Yeah.
And then boom, you get caught doing something stupid. Mark Zuckerberg ruined marriage. You motherfucker. You're a jerk off. I've been wanting to say that for a long time.
He said jerk off. And not the Staten Island type.
Yeah, all right.
But you're 100% on that. It's social media did change the world. Somebody once told me though, like, when are they gonna change the law of marriage since it's so high?
Yeah.
Make it like a hunting license. Every year needs to be renewed. Maybe I want to sign the contract to another year. Maybe not.
That's a good point. That's actually pretty good.
All right.
And it's just like there's kids that,
Yeah.
Somebody told me a story that their kid came home, worried that like, mommy, daddy, I hope you and mommy never leave because they see all their friends
Right.
are divorced. Their parents are divorced.
Yep.
So kids that have families, they're getting scared.
Right.
And it's a shame. And it's just like I said, it's just the time that we're in now. And I almost feel like maybe not in my lifetime. I don't think there's gonna be a time that marriage doesn't even exist.
I think it's happening, Sal.
You know what I mean? It's just and it's just it's a shame. It's just like a year, 2 years now. I'm hearing so many people, a year, 2 years. And listen, I've been separated now for 3 years, a divorced one. I've tried the dating scene. The dating scene is friggin' horrible. It is friggin' horrible. I've tried the dating sites. Horrible. There's so many women right now in their 40s that have no kids, and they're on these dating sites looking to meet that one because they want to have a kid so bad. And you know what? I don't blame them. They want to, having a child is fucking amazing.
Right.
My kids are my world. But my point is, it's just there's so much pressure now when you date, and it's just it's the same conversation over and over. How are you? How many kids do you have? Blah blah blah. Where are you from? Where do you work? What do you do for a living? It's
like a script.
It's horrible. I'm done with it. Even though I said that 15 times, but I'm done with it. There's times you get bored and you just go on it. But the datings, listen, if anyone's out there, you don't have to take my advice. I'm no one to the grass is not green on the other side. Let me tell you now, the grass is not green on the other side. Keep your families, folks. Fight, go to therapy, do what you got to do. I know this podcast isn't about that. We kind of veered off, but just wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah. You don't realize you have something good till you lose it.
Exactly.
And that goes for any topic.
Exactly.
So,
you know, and it makes you the person you are today. I'm the person I am today because of what I went through the past 3 years.
absolutely.
You know, so it's just with that being said, it's just, you know, I'm looking forward to the next chapter in my life. But right now, my life is my kids.
Absolutely.
You know, this what I do. Like it's you know, I get judged a lot on the social media, meaning by women. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you have so many followers, or you like dating all your followers or all this. Like, I'm this kind of like slut.
You should have said every single one.
Yeah, I'm like, not at all. You know what I mean? I'm actually, I'm a very emotional, affectionate person. I want to find, you know, I want to find love. You know what I mean? It's just you want to, but these dating sites is not where to find it. You find it at fucking Stop and Shop before you find it on Bumble.
that is accurate. That is accurate. I don't believe in it. I go at it with a friend of mine who's on all these sites. He's actually sitting next to us. It's because back in the day, going out meeting someone was the way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm still stuck in that. You know, like, so when I hear people doing that, yeah, it's a help, it's a boost. I don't know. I never tried it, but there's nothing better at interacting with someone in person.
Exactly. I mean, the organic way to find someone back then was freaking awesome. You know, there's no one finds each other organically. It's like, I'm dying to meet that one person organically. The way I met, not to bring her up, but you know, I met my ex-wife organically. It was freaking great. That's how I met her. I didn't meet her through a dating site. And it's just that stuff doesn't exist anymore. But that's the real way. That's the real way. You know, we used to go to the club. We used to even even if we went to a bar, just struck up a conversation. You know, you will write the number down on a napkin and you wait the 3-day rule to call her. You get a couple of fucking quarters and you just find a payphone. You call her before
She beeped you. Yeah.
You know, or beep. Yeah, she could give you the beeper number. So, but that was the way to do it. And then you had to put effort. What was that effort? You had to give her a call. You had to go and actually hang out, and that's it. Now there's no effort to do anything. There's no effort to do anything.
No, you're right. I'm sorry I was laughing because it reminded me, you know, again, when I was young, instead of running to a payphone, use your house phone. But I hated that because I couldn't go on AOL.
Yeah.
You know, you got to choose one or the other. And if I was on the phone, you know, if somebody would try to go online, that interference, and you know how many times, you know, even when my parents try to get online and I'm on the phone, I get disconnected. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But does the club life still exist? Is there something? Because, I mean, I don't look for it no more. I just don't know what people do anymore.
It's slim though out there. You know what I mean? There's like lounges, bars. There's a lot of restaurants. Like, you know, it's where you like you go with a bar. But as far as a club, there's a couple of places in Staten Island. But you know, like the DNAs, like the Legacies, the Gazebos, those are done. Like, you don't even see them. The little lounges are still, like, Bay Ridge has a bunch of little lounges. They're still there. But the bigger clubs, I think we need to open up another club.
Would it work?
I don't know. That's a
If I
good point.
put that
No,
effort and would it work? It'll be,
I know.
you know, it'll be full of 67-year-olds. You know, like, no offense, anybody's invited.
I know it is true. I will because people don't leave their fucking house anymore.
Exactly.
So they might as well just go on their fucking phone and just swipe.
That's it, bro. Like here's a great example. I was supposed to go shopping, right? And I woke up. I'm like, all right, let's go. We said we're gonna go buy new jackets. No, forget it. I bought them online. Oh, okay. It's everything's at a click of your finger.
I know. And I'm guilty of that. I literally buy everything on Amazon. And it's just like remember going to the mall and just going to take a
Right.
walk. And I still do that sometimes. I will if if it's a day that I'm not working and I don't have my kids, I want to just get out. I'll go to the mall, walk around, get something to eat. Try to keep it old school sometimes, and actually try to go shopping for some clothes. But yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. So many things are closed down. Sears, so many big names are shut down. It's just insane.
Radio Shack, Caldor, Pergaments.
Pergament.
You could go on and on and on, but everything's online.
Yeah.
Everything's online.
Yeah, so that's just those those times that organic time, it was organic to do everything, not just dating. It's just even like you said, shopping or just going to your friend's house, knocking on his door randomly. You can't knock
Right.
on anyone's door anymore.
Oh no.
You can. I used to just ring my friend's bell. You coming out, and that's it. A lot of this stuff is done now. So just the way we live now is through technology.
Do you feel like the food's changed from then now? Like I feel like everything now is fast food more, right?
Yeah, this stuff. This fast everything. Yeah, and I agree. The food has changed dramatically. But other than that, it's just everything's changed. It's a life that we're the ones in charge of it. Like we have to, if we want to bring those times back, like the 2000s, we have to do it. Like we got to bring that mentality back of just like put the phones away, go out and just meet people. You know what I mean? It's just like they should have a day, no technology day.
Shut.
You know what I mean? Shut the switch off. They should definitely do that.
would
Just
be nice.
no social media. They shut the switch off, and I think people will have fucking heart attacks. People will go nuts.
So what do you think, Sal? You think maybe soon we should organize a little something somewhere?
I think so. I
Give
think
a
we
taste
should.
to these people what a real party is.
Yeah, I have a couple of places in mind that I want to choose. Some places are here in Queens, and I have a couple of places in Brooklyn that I want to reach out. And I think it's time that we throw out we throw a huge old school party like back in the day.
And what he means by is bring an extra pair of change of clothes. You ain't going home that night.
That's right, and
party.
that's right, and I'll be at the door. You know what I mean? I'll be at the door like the biggest jerk off there is. You better have your fucking sneakers on, collared shirts, motherfuckers.
Oh my God! What pair of jeans you used to wear back in the day? What brand? I'm just curious.
You know what? I was always too cheap to buy diesel jeans. I didn't buy diesel. I always bought the diesel sneakers though.
the sneakers
I had the diesel, the black sneakers that looked half black. That would look
square
like
in the toe front,
square
right?
in the
Yeah.
toe front. They looked like shoes, but they were sneakers. So I didn't have a trouble with the door guy letting me in. But I was always too cheap to buy the freaking jeans. I always had the hat, but not the jeans.
Ah.
The jeans were like $100 a pair. I was like,
You remember the brand Request jeans?
no, I don't remember Request.
That was the biggest thing for us, for me at least.
Really? No, I don't remember Request. Back then it was just Levi for me, I think. But Gap was big. Now I'm just everything Express.
My God, remember when the trend of slight ripped jeans came out?
Yeah, like the Green Day days.
And I bought my first pair because they were almost $100.
Yeah.
I brought it home, and I don't know about you guys, but I like to wash my clothes first before I wear it.
Right.
So I got it. I was so happy. I threw it in the laundry basket. Went out. Came back home. My grandma goes, "Hey, Frank, go to the bolchave roba suda suda." You know. I go downstairs. She
sold it.
fucking patched my work jeans. She
Yeah,
said, "My work jeans." That was the funniest day ever.
Oh my God, I remember those times. We had so many different like spurts of things that we did back then. There was like the rugged Green Day days, like the rock days. Then there was like the hip hop days.
White legs.
Yeah, the wide legs. It was just
I think we were rollerblading at one point, weren't we? Everybody was
yeah,
on
it
blades.
would roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Yeah, I remember having a pair of rollerblades. Exactly. So yeah, we just went through our moments.
The bikes in this neighborhood was a thing. Everybody.
That's what it was back then. There was a lot of different types of moments.
Yeah.
Right now, we don't have different. We're set on one, and that's it.
It's like they want you locked in at home.
Yeah.
Right? If you
I
think about
so.
it. You could do everything home. All you need is a phone. You don't
Yep.
have to do nothing. But
All right, but listen, this was awesome.
yeah,
I
man.
think we have to just keep at it. I had a great time.
Sal, thank you.
Our
for
first
coming.
episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back. Frank, take it away.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for listening and tuning in. Sal, thank you, for doing this. Without him, I probably wouldn't have done this. And this is just a little tease of what we have to come and stories to tell. So thank you guys. I appreciate you all and stay tuned.